This is Dr. White and Dr. Blue. We will be discussing the difference of man and animal from Eric Fromm's perspective, man for himself. The modes of adaptation of an animal into its world remains the same throughout. Its instinctual equipment is no longer fit to cope successfully with changing the environment. The species will die out. The animal can adapt itself to changing conditions by changing itself alloplastically, not by changing its environment like we humans do, alloplastically. In this fashion it lives harmoniously, not in the sense of absence of struggle, but in the sense that its inherited equipment makes it a fixed and unchanging part of its world. In this, it either fits in or it dies. We humans constantly change the environment we live in to suit our needs. Yet what the animal does is they adapt to what is going on around them, or they die. However, what we have done is we've built houses for ourselves. We've come up with many different types of technology to adapt to what is going on today. The animal goes day by day and does not think about what it's going to do the next day. It goes by what it is doing now. That is another significant difference between man and animal. An animal cannot think ahead, think about the future. It only lives now. His awareness of himself as a separate entity, his ability to remember the past, to visualize the future, and to denote objects and acts by symbols, his reason to conceive and understand the world, and his imagination through which he reaches far beyond the range of his senses. That's a second quote from Eric Fromm, denoting the difference between man and animal. Man, as we all should know, we can think about what's going on around us. We write, we read, we speak. Unlike animals who don't particularly write, they use their own forms of communication, and they only think about what's going on right now. They don't quite have an imagination, and they're not thinking about the future, what the future holds for them. They're getting their food and living the next day. Man is the only animal that can be bored. That is surprising to me. Yes, I've been bored many times, however, I never expected that an animal cannot get bored. I'd think laying on the ground like our dogs do, sleeping 90% of the day, is pretty boring. However, once I read this, I realized that our dogs don't get bored. They just keep laying there and sleeping. They'll get up to chase the deer through the house, looking through the window. They'll also bark when UPS trucks drive by. But other than that, they don't really do much. However, if I sit on the floor or lay on the floor, I get bored after 5 minutes of doing nothing. I might fall asleep if I'm dead tired, but other than that, I'm going to get bored. Which is most likely the same with you. That concludes my short and sweet man's difference from animal video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you really take to heart that we are actually different from animals, and we have a true gift of being able to think about the past and the future. We aren't living day to day. Those of you that are watching this have a computer and hopefully a roof over your head and are able to live on into your own life and think about what you're going to do tomorrow. Think about what you did yesterday and enjoy your life. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great evening.